Hello, I want to talk to you today about healing hands and crystal therapy. A lot of my clients ask me what it is, and it it's very, very intense, but it's a healing that is something that I created to help heal and align your chakras, and also to clear out the energy that is no longer helping you. And when I say clearing out an energy that's no longer helping you, most of the energies that I clear out from people are fear, maybe insecurities or whatever. But let me just explain to you the session and how it started and how it ends. We first will start out with a tarot reading, using a lot of tarot cards, sometimes past life reading as well, um, and a lot of oracle cards. And the reason for that is to figure out what exactly it is that's holding you back, what kind of fears that you are having. And once we get done with that, then I have you choose your crystals. I have uh, lots and hundreds of crystals that you can choose from. You pick out the crystals that you like. And I also do a chakra reading on you as well. And I have all my chakra oils. I use the chakra oil that I feel is best for you at the time. I have you lay on I have not a meditation table, a massage table. I have a massage table. So I have you lay on the table and I put the crystals on you. I use my oils, and sometimes I use flowers if I have them available. And I pray over you. I also invoke ascended masters, Jesus always being one of them. But I also invoke other ascended masters, and I ask them to show me what exactly it is that needs to be removed out of you, the energy that's not serving you anymore. Excuse me. I ask my guides and ascended masters to show me what it is that we need to address. But before we get started, I always guide you into uh, what I call as a guided meditation that I created myself of Mahatma Energy. And I'm sure a lot of people want to know what Mahatma Energy is. When I first started using it about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, um, you're allowed to invoke it 3 times a day. And I used to get tingling, like a warm sensation around the inside of my calves and inner knees, and didn't know why I was feeling that all the time. And I looked it up, and a lot of times using this, invoking this energy into you will help you. It'll give you like a warm sensation, or kind of make you feel a little tingly. A lot of people that I help with this, um, that's usually what they tell me. But this is on my website actually. I'm reading from my website, Mahatma Energy. The Mahatma Energy is the most important of the energies available to us on Earth. It is a direct link between us and our Godhead, building a bridge of light through all 350 levels of God consciousness. Its color is a golden white ray of light with a hint of violet, and contains a very high frequency as it raises our own vibration and brings us to a much higher level of spiritual awakening. Invoking the Mahatma Energy on a regular basis assists in healing our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies. It is power cleanses our aura magnetic field, removing negative and emotional thought problems. So I guide you into that meditation. Now, the one thing that I can tell you, after we do the guided meditation, then I go to work and I remove whatever energies that needs to be removed from you. I start from your head and I move it all through down out of your feet. So, and I do it 3 times. And it when I'm finished, I sit down and I connect with your spirit guides and also with the ascended masters, and I make notes of my vision of everything that I'm seeing. What's very interesting is when my client comes, to when they get up from the session and they share with me what they saw, uh, 99.9% of the time I saw the same things. So it's a very interesting thing, and I will share with you what happened when I first when I was first introduced to this in 2011. I think, yeah, it was 2011. I was up in Asheville, and this lady wanted to do a reading on me, and I had never had any kind of metaphysical experience ever in my life that I knew of at the time, because I come from a very strong Christian background. And this lady up in Asheville said, I'm coming to Charleston in a couple of weeks, and I want to do this crystal reading on you. And I was like, oh, what is that? And I was all giggly and everything. And she explained to me that how she puts crystals on me and does this thing. And I thought, oh my God, this woman's friggin' crazy. She's got rocks falling out of her head. She wants to put them on my body. So I was very intrigued with what she was telling me, even though I was a little skeptical. And, a week later, I was getting dressed, and I heard a voice that was very audible, as if, like as you can hear me talking to you. And it said, you're getting ready to go on a spiritual journey. And I thought that was God telling me that I was getting ready to die. And I started crying, and I said, I'm not ready to die. I have children. And I heard the voice again say, you're getting ready to go on a spiritual journey. And at that time, I had a very overwhelming feeling of peace come over me. And then I went on about my business. At 2 o'clock the next morning, I was rushed to the emergency room to have emergency surgery, and I thought for sure, this is it. Needless to say, I didn't die. Just had to have a little gallbladder removal. But a week later, the lady up in Asheville did indeed come to Charleston, and she called me and wanted to do this reading on me. And I was very skeptical, but I went, and it changed my life. It didn't change my life overnight, but it certainly made a horrific impact on my life and the changes that I needed to go through. It was very, very powerful, and there were visions that I had. I saw, and she even told me. Now, I don't speak unless Spirit tells me to speak. And the moment she put the first crystal on me, I started having visions. And when I opened my eyes, she started talking about things, and the things that she was talking about was what I was visioning. And I remember thinking, how does she know what's in my head? What visions that I'm seeing. So that's how powerful this thing is. And I learned I took what she offered to me, I took it and I developed it into something even more by using the Mahatma Energy guided meditation, doing that, and also moving energy out of my clients. So, and when I say moving energy out of them, I mean like moving the energy that they no longer need, or that it's not serving them. And it could be something that has been with them for a very, very long time. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen in a session because everybody is different. Everybody has something different. It could be a physical, emotional, or spiritual healing, or it could be all three. But I can tell you one thing: most common denominator that everybody has shared with me. It is the most relaxed they've ever felt. So once I remove the energy that is no longer needed, I replace that energy, because now you have a void. Now you have to replace it. So I replace it with, over your heart, I replace it with a healing, an energy of love and compassion. And I'll share a few stories with you. I had a client, this is years ago. She came in, and I had been seeing this client for a while. And she came in, and by the way, you can have as many of these healing hands and crystal therapies as you want. You know, I have people that get them once a month, but they're very, very powerful. But this woman came in, and she was so fidgety and had so much anxiety, and she was talking very loud. She wouldn't look me in the eye. She was making me nervous. So I sat down with her to do her tarot reading, but she was just so fidgety that I got up and I gave her a crystal, stuck it in her hand. And I knew that this woman was on Valium, you know, to help calm her down. And after about 10 minutes into the reading, I noticed that she sat back in her chair and she was very, very calm. She was able to look me in the eye and wasn't so loud. And I said, "Did you take your Valium today?" Because I thought maybe she had taken Valium before she came in, and finally it was starting to take effect. She said, "No, I haven't had any Valium today." I remembered that I gave her a crystal, and it was a special kind of crystal. So I did her, once we did the reading, she got her crystals, and she laid down on the table, and we did our thing. And when it was over, she got up, and I'm telling you, she wasn't even the same person. She stood differently, she looked different. And when she first said to me, she was like, "Oh, my neck's not hurting anymore, my back doesn't hurt." I thought maybe she just had a headache. And she said that her stepfather used to pick her up by the neck when she was a child, and that she had always had this ongoing pain, just always, and it was just always there. And she said, "I don't have that pain anymore." So I was like, "Great, you know." But she also told me, she said, when I had asked the Ascended Masters to help me and see what was going on, and I prayed over her, what I saw in her was like black tar, like when they laid tar down to make the asphalt. It's black and gooey and sticky and just icky. And that's what I saw in her. And so, I did my thing. I started from her head, moved the energy out, 3 times. And she said, I almost had to ask you to take the crystals off of me because I was going to throw up. She said, I felt like I was going to just throw up. She said that she could feel like black, murky water going through her body. And I kind of laughed. I thought, well, I saw it as black tar. She saw it as a black, murky water. She said, but just when I got ready to ask you to take the crystals off, all of a sudden I felt this warm, fuzzy feeling. It felt very good all around, like my chest area and my heart. And I told her, I said, well, what I had done was, and I explained to her what I saw, the black murky, the black sticky tar. I said, that was fear, and I moved that out of you. And but I always have to replace what I move out with love and compassion, and that's what you felt. So that was, I thought it was very interesting how, that came together. And one other story that really stands out to me is I used to rent a room from this woman, really sweet lady. who had, it was called Bridge to Avalon, and it was a spiritual center, and she would rent out rooms to practitioners. And my dearest friend, her and her husband came to have, they both were going to get healing hands and crystal therapy with me on this day. And so it was a room. It wasn't a real big room, but it wasn't real small either. And we were closed, the door was closed and everything. And so I did my friend, her name is Lisa, and I know she doesn't mind me sharing this story, but I after we did the reading and everything, and I think we did a past life reading. I did a past life reading on both of her and her husband, but I saw fear. I saw a lot of fear in her, and so I started from her head, and I'm moving it down, through her body. I get to her left thigh, and I physically, with my own eyes, physically saw a demon on her left thigh that I was moving out of her. Scared the living shit out of me because, first of all, I'm moving this thing out of her and it's going to come through her feet, and we're all in this room, the three of us, and that thing is going to have to attach itself to somebody or, stay in the room or whatever. And so I just lost my shit there for a moment, and could not find any sage. I was all over the place looking for sage. Couldn't find any. And I happened to have a bag of lavender scented Epsom salt next to me on the table. And I just remember picking up handfuls of salt and just throwing them at her, putting them on her leg, and her husband's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And it everything was taken care of. We got done what we needed to do, and it was all good. And oh my goodness, that my friend Lisa is very, very powerful. I send some of my clients to her. She don't have no fear no more. She's a very, very powerful person. But anyway, that's what it entails. And like I said, you can have, you know, more than one session. I think altogether in my life, I've had the same woman do it on me. I've had 3 sessions throughout my life, and I learned a whole lot about myself. Recently, I did one for a client. She's actually coming. She's coming tomorrow to have another session done. But when I first did her session, she called me a couple of days later. She's so cute. She's this client called me up, and she said, "Do you mind if I give your number to some friends of mine?" I, I said, "Of course not. I want you to do that." But anyway, she said, that session, that really, really changed my perspective and helped me a lot in my life in this journey. So if you're going through some transitions, or you're feeling like you need to clear out some energy that's just not working for you anymore, I would highly suggest the Healing Hands and Crystal Therapy for you. If you have any more questions about it, please feel free to text me or call me, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you, and have a wonderful day in love and light. Bye-bye.